And I'm back. So here we go. I'm gonna talk about my two favorite directors. If you know me, pretty much these are my two favorite, and for different reasons too. First of all, my first favorite is Kevin Smith. Mainly because he was the one who kind of got me into wanting to become a director. I know he might be like, I'm sorry, because directing is not what he's predominantly known for. He's predominantly known for writing. But he writes, he directs what he writes. And I think he's really good as a director. And we will get into that in a little bit. The other director is Alfred Hitchcock. And he's definitely for the director side, really. So really for the writer side, Kevin Smith. But, I also do enjoy when I watch his movies, so I do enjoy his direction. But really, as far as like directors go, Alfred Hitchcock is my favorite, and Kevin Smith would be my favorite writer. So I'm gonna do a collection video where I'm gonna be talking about my collection of those and kind of give you some insight into that stuff. I know I want to do more in depth on Alfred Hitchcock at some bit because there's a lot more movies that I've seen that I don't actually own. So I would like to actually do a more video on that, at some point. But right now, I would love to start with Kevin Smith. So I'm going to do Blu-rays first. These are my Blu-rays that I have. And then I'll do my DVDs because I have a lot more DVDs than I do Blu-rays. I'm not sure. I'll probably do the same thing for Alfred Hitchcock when I do that. So let's begin. First of all, Clerks. This is going to be in order of them being made and everything. So, Clerks. I own the Clerks DVD, or the Blu-ray, of course. It's not much different than the Clerks like special edition DVD that was like 3 discs long. I think it's got pretty much everything from both, So there you go. Then Mallrats, which the DVD I think was a little bit better. I think they might have had some stuff in there. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's got all the same stuff. I know it was 2-sided discs, so I don't know. Mallrats was the movie that got me into watching Kevin Smith movies. It was my favorite for a bit, for a long time. And then the next movie I'm going to be talking about knocked it out of the park for a long time too. So actually kind of was like, it was Mallrats was my first, then Chasing Amy was then it was Jay and Silent Bob for a while was my favorite, and then Chasing Amy. So anyway, Mallrats, I actually really adore this. This Blu-ray is just one-sided and, decent. Like, this is a pretty good version of it. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. So, next is Chasing Amy, which the Blu-ray I am not happy about because the Criterion Collection DVD that you can get for anywhere, pretty much, even thrift stores carry it, had some commentary with other people, like I think it was with Ben Affleck, and then this one just has Scott Mosier. Now they have a Chasing Amy documentary and stuff, and some conversation with like Kevin and Joey, and a 10-year later Q&A, which they did not have on the other one. But I think it's missing something. I'm not sure. It's missing something from the other thing other than the commentary. But, it was what it was. Like, this is a pretty good Blu-ray. I just wish they could have put both commentary tracks on there. I think with the deleted scenes, they don't have the introductions that they had before, because that was a Criterion release, and this one's, I guess Miramax and Lionsgate put that out. So, next is Dogma, which this also got screwed over as far as things go. I forgot what it was. No, they have the deleted scenes. it didn't have a there's a documentary that was on this one that they don't have. I think it was It's a Lovely Tea Party documentary and something. No, that's on Jay and Silent Bob. I don't know. I know this is missing something as well. I got this for like $6, and it's kind of funny because I got this and I was thinking, shit, this is gonna be sucky. It's gonna be bare bones, but it's still had the cast and crew commentary and the technical commentary, which is really what I cared about, and the deleted scenes. So I love the deleted scenes. A lot of times with the Kevin Smith DVD, when they have the deleted scenes, they're well worth it. The cool thing about Mallrats is they put the deleted scenes back in so you can see what they would have done or whatever differently. So Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is, it's a fun movie for people who are obsessed with the View Askew universe like I am. It's definitely one of those movies that I really enjoyed. Now this really got screwed over because it only has the commentary on it, so the bonus material on this kind of sucked. I think they even dropped the documentaries and other stuff, so nothing. Yeah. And this is my last Blu-ray, Cop Out. It was not the best movie. And I'm not going to say, it was anybody's fault necessarily. I know Kevin Smith did a great job directing it, so it definitely wasn't his fault. I think the biggest problem might have been the writing. I think the guys who wrote it are probably really funny dudes and everything, but just somehow or another it just got lost with the 2 stars and everything like that. I don't know. It wasn't the greatest movie. I got this because my aunt gave it to me for Christmas a couple years ago, and I wasn't normally I wouldn't have bought this normally. Even if I wanted to have stuff in my collection, which I have a huge Kevin Smith collection, I think, a pretty good Kevin Smith collection. I'm missing a couple things that I had. Like, I'm missing my Clerks 2 DVD, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But I've got a pretty good size collection, so. All right, well, these are out of order, so let me see if I can make them in order real quick. Okay, so. Wow. These don't need to be in order necessarily. These do. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the Kevin Smith movies that I have on DVD now. Clerks, of course, is the first one. First movie he ever made. It pretty much inspired me as a director because I saw it and I was like, wow, this dude made movies in his hometown with his friends. Like, that's pretty cool. Then Mallrats. This is the one that has like, basically you can, I don't know if they put it in, this is 2 versions of the film, the theatrical version and the extended version, so I think it does have it put in, but I think it's for both. Sorry for my glasses, they keep falling freaking down. Next is Chasing Amy, which you can see is signed by Kevin Smith. That's, if you went to their like website, you can get it signed and everything. This took forever when I first put it out, when I first like ordered it. I don't know how long it took, I forgot, but it took a while, and then I got it, and this is actually a newer disc because the disc I had was messed up, so I found a newer one now. This one's like pretty much scratch free, so that's pretty good. But like I said before, it's got like a commentary with Kevin Smith, Scott Mosier, and I think Jason Mewes and Ben Affleck, yeah. And producer Bob Hawke. And Miramax executive Sean Gordon and Vincent Pereira, the View Askew historian. They're all in this like commentary track. And like things like that. And I was just like, wow, that's sucky that they did not like have that in the Blu-ray. So if you wanna, I would, if you're a big Kevin Smith fan like I am, get both versions. Dogma, which has the bonus disc, which I think there was some stuff that was in the bonus disc that was not in the Blu-ray. So once again, you want to get the DVD because the Blu-rays kind of, they don't add everything. I swear to God, I think it has something to do with when Lionsgate buys it, they have problems with the original Miramax stuff. So all right, nose itches. All right, Jersey Girl. So there you go. I have this. Yes, I know a lot of people hate it, and I don't know why, but I love it. It's fun. You know, it's Kevin Smith trying to do a grown-up movie that isn't awful at all. Like, it's pretty good. There's this like really powerful scene with Ben Affleck and the girl, what's her name, Raquel Castro, and they have this like scene where he yells at her, and I'm like, holy shit. It was just a really good movie. You gotta check it out. And lastly, I have Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which is a Blockbuster exclusive DVD. I know they put out a Blu-ray with Clerks 2 and Zack and Miri, and I think I'm gonna eventually get that. Haven't bought that yet. And like I said, I'm missing the Clerks 2 DVD. I had it. I don't know where it is right now. If you've noticed, there's a couple of them. I think I let people borrow them, and I just forget. And I don't know. I don't know if that's any of your guys' like issues sometimes. It's just letting people borrow things and then forgetting who has what. But I think that's happened with that in one of the movies that I'm going to talk about for Alfred Hitchcock. Also wanted to showcase a couple movies that I forgot one of them. Is it there? Should be right here. It is. Is here? Oh. Okay. So I have 4 movies that Kevin Smith produced, and he acts in 2 of them. But A Better Place, signed by Vincent Pereira. Great movie. If you have not seen this movie, see it. I remember I worked at a video store, and the guy who ran the video store, I had to have everything checked in through him, but I said for him he should order this. So he asked to borrow it, and he borrowed the movie and thought it was really good, and asked if he could, or he said, yeah, sure, he'll put it out. And then this is, I see this at thrift stores all the freaking time. Drawing Flies, signed by Malcolm Ingram. So I got a couple of these signed. I wish I had these 2 signed, but I don't. I'll have to get them signed at some point. But now you know. This is a really, really good movie. I saw this at Vulgarthon, which is Kevin Smith's film festival. It was back in 2002. And this was put out. And I remember I was a huge fan of Jeremy Sisto. Still am. Jeremy Sisto was in like Clueless. And there was another Alicia Silverstone movie, Hideaway or something like that he was in. And he was wonderful. And so it was really cool to get this. It's got commentary by Kevin and Jeff Anderson, the director. And here's the thing, like Vincent Pereira directed Better Place. Malcolm Ingram co-directed Drawing Flies with Matthew Gissing. And those guys are friends of Kevin Smith. So he pretty much just put his friends, money up for his friends to do something. So this is the last one. It's Vulgar. And a lot of people hate this movie. I don't know why. And it's not because they hate it because it's a bad movie. I think they hate it because it's a hard movie to watch. You know, it's got Brian O'Halloran from Clerks, basically playing a very like far from Dante kind of role, and he gets unfortunately he gets like raped or whatever by these guys, and ends up becoming this big superstar when he saves a little girl, becomes this like hero, and becomes a star and everything. And then they try to why does it say theatrical version? Do I not have the unrated? Huh. Well, that's weird. It says I have the theatrical version. I thought I had the unrated version. Alright, well, whatever. Anyway, Vulgar is a great movie. Just very dark and twisted and really fucked up. It's actually based on The Clown and The View Askew. In the first, if you ever watch Clerks, there's the clown that comes in the beginning, and he's like, there's kids waving a ball around, and people thought it was like child molesting clown and stuff. So they're like, oh, we can make a whole movie out of that, and they did. They called it Vulgar, and I thought it was great. So a lot of people don't like it, but like I saw it with a friend of mine who's very Christian, very conservative kind of guy, not, and he was just, I think he was cringing the whole time. He said he would never watch it again, but he was glad he got a chance to watch it because, like, that's not a movie you normally get to see. So I recommend it to people, but a lot of people, I think, hate on it. Just because it's really, really fucked up. And if you don't really have a fucked up sense of humor or whatever, okay. So we're gonna go on to Alfred Hitchcock. So that was my Kevin Smith collection, and so I've got probably more that I'll get. I need to get Tusk. I need to get Yoga Hosers. I need to get Red State. I need to get Clerks 2 again. I saw a copy of it at a thrift store, so I have to go. I think I saw that at Goodwill, so I'll have to go in there and grab another copy. Let's see, which is in order. Don't even think I need to do order. God dang, I don't know why I'm itching so much. Alright, so I, you know what, I don't even know what order. So I'm probably gonna do order from my least favorite to favorites. I don't even know. Yeah. Alright, so here's my least favorites. And no, by no means is that bad, because all of these movies are great. Rope. This would be my, I guess there's 5. So this is my top 5 of the Blu-rays that I got. Rope. Basically, there's no good. There's like a documentary or whatever on it, but aside from that, and it was kind of boring documentary, but this is just my least favorite. It's kind of boring. It's all set in one area. It feels like a play because it's based on a play. It was kind of cool because they used that one singular take, but aside from that, I just I didn't feel any sympathy for these guys. I was hoping the whole time they would get caught. I thought that one guy was a complete and total douche, and I think it's the same guy that's in Strangers on a Train or something. But and he plays a douche in that too. So I don't know. And Jimmy Stewart just felt so awkward. He comes in and he's kind of this, I don't know. So I was so excited to see this. Like, I own this. I had never seen it. I was like, can't wait to watch it. And I watched it. I was like, why do people obsess about this movie so much? It's not the greatest. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest. So next is The Birds. Now, I know a lot of people are like, what? That's not like your second or third. That's your fourth favorite. Yes, and you'll see why, because there are 3 really, really good ones. This is a great movie. You can see, watching it, how inspired movies like Jaws or The Fog, which actually used, I think he used Tippi Hedren in The Fog, but maybe it didn't, but I know they used like Janet Leigh in The Fog. I know it's Janet Leigh. They used Janet Leigh in The Fog, and that was definitely inspired by Psycho, but like this felt like, The Fog was inspired by The Birds because it was like the seaside town being attacked by something kind of like they don't understand and everything. But they try to explain that in that movie. In this one, there's no explanations. The birds are just attacking. There's just no freaking explanation. It's just like, bam. The birds just hate the people, and they all just attack. And it's not even like one specific type of birds. It's not like the hawks who are attacking. It's like all these different birds. It's like freaking they want to just kill. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. And then I heard like Tippi Hedren got like attacked by real birds and stuff like that. And watching that, like I'm in awe of that, like those scenes, because I'm like, dear Lord, I feel bad for her. But it's a great movie. Very fun. I will probably watch it every year at least once. Vertigo. I like this more than The Birds. And here's the thing. I'm not huge into it. Like, okay, once again, if you notice, like I had Rope and I had Vertigo, and they're both Jimmy Stewart. This is Jimmy Stewart's one of his best, I think, honestly. I've seen a few of his movies with Alfred Hitchcock. I love The Man Who Knew Too Much, and I have that somewhere. I just couldn't find it. So it's not in my pile of DVDs. But it's somewhere in this like pile of stuff. So I will talk about that. But Vertigo is just a really well done movie. If Jimmy Stewart wasn't in there, I could have seen Cary Grant play that role too. I mean, there was just it was just a really, really, really good movie. I also love there's like commentary by William Friedkin, and I know The Birds had commentary too, right? Or did not? It did not have commentary. My bad. It just had a bunch of Tippi Hedren screen test and stuff, and things like that. Which I don't know. I've been reading all these books on Alfred Hitchcock, and anyway. So Vertigo is wonderful. It is a fun movie. If you haven't seen it, it's about this guy who basically goes insane. He's got vertigo, which means he doesn't like heights and everything, and he has these issues, and he sees this woman fall to her death, but is she really dead, or is she really not, or is there other things going on, supernatural things? You don't know throughout the movie. It so confuses you, and it makes you have a little bit of vertigo and everything. And I know it was made fun of, like spoofed in the movie High Anxiety. If you've seen that movie, I didn't like it personally. Thought it was one of my least favorite Mel Brooks movie. A lot of people love it and think that it's hilarious. It's kind of like I was never a fan of Dr. Strangelove, and everybody I know likes it. I've tried it like 2 or 3 times, and I just could not get into it. But I guess we'll save that for another like episode where I talk about the movies that I don't like and everybody else seems to like. That seems to be a good topic. But Vertigo, I really enjoyed this. This was good fun. Kim Novak is gorgeous. Whew. He knows how to pick blondes, I'll tell you that. Speaking of blondes, North by Northwest. Another blonde is Eva Marie Saint, and she's wonderful in it. That very classic scene right there. Both scenes, actually. That's really funny that they capitalized on both scenes in the poster. If you look at it, they've got him running away from the... but they don't have the crop stuff. But anyway, he's running away from the crop dusting plane, and he's also got Mount Rushmore behind him. So those are 2 of the best scenes in the movie. I don't really know where they came up with the name North by Northwest. I should really look into that. Basically, Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, and James Mason are awesome in this movie. I really enjoyed it. There is commentary by screenwriter Ernest Lehman. Lehman sounds horrible. Sounds like I'm making fun of the dude, which I'm not. A 2009 documentary that reveals the master's touch, Hitchcock's signature style. I think I watched some of that. Some other cool. I mean, it's got a pretty good listing of stuff right there. So for special features, you should go check it out and buy it wherever you can. And my last Blu-ray, of course, save the best for last. My favorite is Psycho. Now, a lot of people's favorite is Vertigo, and I've seen a lot of top 5 Alfred Hitchcock ones, but Psycho is my favorite by far. It is the movie that got me really into Hitchcock. It is the one that I think stands up the most through time because it is, to me it feels timeless. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that movie that could happen to anyone at any time in certain situations. Like somebody wants to steal money from a company, so they go and try to steal the money and try to run off with it. I mean, you trust somebody to go to the bank. You think that, they're just going to go to the bank and deposit the money. But they could just skip town. Now, of course, people would know and the people come after them. But, and she does all these crazy things. She tries to... the only thing I didn't like is the cop, the cop saw her at the... I don't know if it was like her there, like it was out of his jurisdiction to like follow her, but it was just really suspicious. She did some suspicious shit, and he just kind of watched her, and I almost felt like a lot of that was unnecessary. I know people might be like it caused a lot of tension and drama and stuff like that, and that's great, but to me, it was kind of like, what's the point? Like, after she stole a car, or she was in her car sleeping and stuff, and she realized the cop was following her, which, I don't know what she was thinking. She wasn't doing anything other than she was being very suspicious. You know what I mean? I don't know whatever. Anyway, she switches cars. And she gives money to this guy. And it's like, I just want cash and I want I want a car now and everything like that. Just all these suspicious things. And then he just watches her leave. And I'm like, why wouldn't he just follow her if he knew she was being suspicious? Why wouldn't he run her plate, see what was going on, and then try? I don't know. There's so much. And that was left undone. That cop never comes back throughout the rest of the movie. And it was just okay, if you're not going to bring him back later, it's like that line, if you have a gun and in the first act, it better go off in the third act. There was that cop. He should have showed up, or something, and kind of put, a damper. But then the killer... Oh, okay, spoiler alert. If you have not seen Psycho, close your ears. They kill her off. So, all of that, switching the car, doing all that stuff, adding all the tension, it was all just a ruse because at the end of the day, it didn't matter. She was going to die, and we never... it was so ridiculous. But I guess, if you see it for the first time and you're like, oh my God, I wonder if she's going to, she's going to make it, and we're rooting for her, and then she dies, and then we're like, what in the world is happening? That's the one thing that most screenwriting books kind of teach you not to do, is kill off your lead in the first, in the first half or whatever, which is what they do. First half of the movie is her, then all of a sudden it's the sister. It's almost like two different movies. It's 45 minutes or an hour of one and then another hour of another movie, all with it's almost like a semi-anthology with what's his name, the only tie to it being Norman Bates. It's just really bizarre, but it's such a great movie. They made that Bates Motel TV show, and it wasn't nearly as good as Psycho, but I think it was good. It was a very good show. They tried to make something just as good as Psycho. So that was my top 5. So, here we go. I'm going to talk about these two, and then the last 2 or 3 that I'm going to talk about, but number 17 and The Ring. These are silent movies that he made. I also have a couple DVDs of like a bunch of his older movies, and I'm not even going into those, but there's like 20 different movies or whatever that he did. I think these were a part of it too. So The Lodger, I'm not sure. The Lodger's a lot of times been left off. I don't know why, but it's been left off. And The Lodger is by far one of my favorites because it was really cool. It was really neat kind of thing. The Lodger and Sabotage and The Ring and number 17. So The Ring was a boxing one, and number 17, I don't know, was this a silent movie as well? Just black and white. I think both these, I thought they were both silent. I don't know. Anyway, I guess, I don't know, maybe they are. I know The Lodger's silent. I guess Sabotage is not silent, I know that. So anyway, these are really great movies from his past, but I've got that, bunch of them that you could get from like Mill Creek or one of those companies. Has like a whole bunch of them. I don't know if they're public domain. I'm guessing they are. And then there's Shadow of Doubt. Oh my God. This is a great movie. If you have not seen this movie, it is so messed up. I did not realize how messed up it was. When I originally bought this years ago, I don't even have a copy of it anymore. I think I lost the DVD, but I've got the case. DVD's somewhere. I need to get it on Blu-ray eventually. But, and speaking of Blu-rays, I'm missing my Rear Window Blu-ray. I think I let somebody borrow it, and they never brought it back. That would be my guess, because I have no idea where it went. But it's a great movie. If you have not seen Rear Window, watch that, because that is probably, that is up there with Vertigo as one of his best, Jimmy Stewart's best works with Alfred Hitchcock. Man Who Knew Too Much, which I've mentioned before, was not that great. It was okay. It had some moments that were, interesting, pretty cool moments, but all in all, just not the greatest. It was just kind of boring, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. I mean, all of Alfred Hitchcock movies have great shots and cool cinematography, but some of them are kind of boring and slow and just not that interesting to me. But it might also be it's a different time, and so a lot of that stuff just doesn't hold up to me. But okay, Shadow of a Doubt, great movie because Joseph Cotton and what's the girl's name? Basically, Joseph Cotton plays a yes, was that Patricia Collins? No, Teresa Wright. So there's Teresa Wright and Joseph Cotton, and basically Teresa Wright is a is it Wright or White? Right. Basically she's a the niece of this guy, and he somehow or another he's like running away from the law, but you don't know why. And these law people are coming after him, and they're kind of warning her he's a dangerous guy, and he ends up basically, I don't want to spoil anything. I already spoiled Psycho, but I had to, because that had a great twist. But yeah, so definitely check out Shadow of a Doubt. I can't tell you what happens exactly, but trust me, it will blow your mind. Then, Notorious. And this is one of Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman's, one of their like best movies. I love this movie and Spellbound, which is another Ingrid Bergman movie. But yeah, both of these are just freaking phenomenal. But this one especially, basically they're spies, and it's a spy thriller, and she ends up, I think, was it James Mason? Claude Rains. Claude Rains. So basically, Claude Rains is this like he's the bad guy. He's like the German that they're supposed to spy on, and she falls in love with the other spy on the other side, and he falls in love with her, but he's kind of torn because he wants to get this job, and she doesn't want to be apart from this guy and everything, and she has to pretend to be in love with this other dude for a while, and then they kind of get found out, and just this whole thing, and it's amazing. It is really good. There is some really funny scenes, and there's like a drunk driving scene that's freaking hilarious, and which is not normally funny to me. Like, don't get me wrong, don't think I'm like one of those people that laughs at drunk driving. I don't, but that just, if you watch it and tell me what you think, because it's freaking hilarious, and it's just a great movie overall. So anyway, that's it. Wow, that took a lot longer than I was planning, but I should have just done one. But yeah, Kevin Smith and Alfred Hitchcock were the two people I wanted to pick because I love both those guys. Those guys are the reason why I wanted to get into filmmaking and everything, and I don't regret that at all. I love both of these guys. They are just amazing at what they do. They do things differently. You can't look at Kevin Smith thing and think Alfred Hitchcock, and you can't look at Alfred Hitchcock and ever think Kevin Smith. Like, they're just completely different people. And they do great movies to me. Like, I love every one of these movies. I will say I'll even watch Cop Out. Not a lot, but I'll watch it every now and then. It's not my favorite, as I said, but it's kind of cool to see one of my idols working with Bruce Willis. I mean, and hearing all the funny stories he has about it. So anyway, that's it. So thank you so much for checking this out. Remember to subscribe and like, and let us know how you guys feel. Let me come say hello, comment, tell me what your favorite Kevin Smith movie is, and tell me what your favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie is. If you don't agree with my stuff, say it. Say I don't agree. Let me see. Last thing I'll do is I'll rate my favorite Kevin Smith movies. All right, so it's probably gonna be Chasing Amy, then Mallrats, then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Who's that? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, then Clerks 2, most likely, and probably Clerks 1. So it goes this, Clerks 2, and Clerks 1. And I'm not including the newer stuff because, honestly, I feel that's so different. I don't hate them or anything, but I feel like it's just so different. And I think I did a review of Yoga Hosers that might still be online, and I still stand by that thing. It's saying it's a weird movie, and not even in the sense of like Tusk. Tusk was a good movie. I just think Yoga Hosers was a very nice attempt at doing something for his daughter, but I hope he understands it was a failed attempt. It really wasn't that good, but I think the problem that it suffered was there's too much going on at once. There's the Bratzi's characters and the So anyway, if you've seen Yoga Hosers, just know it. If you like it, great. If you loved it, awesome. But if you didn't like it like I did, I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. If you didn't like it like me, I feel you. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.